when you even look at the term feminist philosophy is it's an essential component which carries feminist ideas. In the original ideology of feminism holds that men, I want you to keep this in mind and you write it down because I want you to understand what they say when women supposed to look at feminism, what it actually is. And now how black women have changed this whole dynamic. Because feminism holds that men and women ought to be treated equally in footing and given the equivalent chance of many activities, interests, expertise, advice, and aspect of a life that's distinguished and unified by particular characteristics. Understand what that's saying. I'm saying it that way to make sure we clearly get it because it's understood by particular characteristics. We're not going to pinhole it to a body, feminine or female or male, but it's we're gonna be fair with it, and it's by a characteristic. Keep that in mind. That'll help you even later on in your life to make sure you can understand, because when you approach this physiological approach and it's geared towards gaining to understand the problem that appears in the day or even in the past that refers to, and what they're saying is feminist or the doctrine or the methodology is used, they use oppression. Keep that in mind. I want you to write that one down. We're gonna hunt this dog down. So with this oppression, I want you to remember what it is. And this is feminist. They can go into their doctrine all day and that it'll prove it's right because I'm going to even show you where it came from. But I'm going to show you the main thing is defined when you look at oppression. And you got to remember that's what oppression is. And this is what white women, and you see they achieve their goal, because we're going to get into that. They achieve their goal. But if you see, white women really don't push feminist movements. They really don't. It's black women. In this, and when you look at oppression, it's a forced trinity, meaning to have total authority to exert absolute power over another person. That's oppression. Today we have women producing ideas in social one call, and they're going to call it a feminist idea. But women call these, and what you have to look at them as feminist philosophers. And these feminist philosophers push what is known as feminism. And they acclaim feminism as a system of values, beliefs, and behaviors to attempt to better a situation of women in society. That is where the lie is on black women. White women was 100% was fair. I want you to understand the difference. And I'm holding to what I'm saying. And you can drill me on that. The way white women was saying feminist was being, and why they was moving that feminist movement, anybody would agree with. Anybody with white women. He was right. Black women was 400 million times incorrect. I'll say it again. White women was correct. Black women was 100 million billion times incorrect. Based on the values, the beliefs, and the behaviors that attempt to better the situation for women in society. And these are the principles that developed by feminists. And their opinion was women should be subject. And what was happening was they was being abused in the patriarchal, that word always messes me up, patriarchal society, which are intended to bring the change in the system of belief. So I want to show you something to make sure we understand what we all on the same page. I want you to see something. I want you to see something here. And I'm gonna bring this woman up. Her name is Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft. And she actually wrote this book of the vindication of women, of the rights of women. I want you to see this. I want you to understand what this is saying. In this woman, now the main thing is this. It's really weird on how this is going to go. She was actually the creator of that. Most people don't know that. And this was born in 1759. She was accredited for the first organized feminist philosopher that is known. It's her. That's her. Right there. That's where feminists came from. That's where that came from. So anybody can tell you whatever they want to tell you, but that's where that came from. In Mary, her written words that she wrote in her book was talking about history and politics. But she developed a strong passion and singled out a thing on women, on the rights, which ultimately drove her to become a feminist philosopher. A feminist philosopher is what she became. And she penned this book. The Vindication of the Rights of Women, which the first was distributed in, I believe, in 1792. But you can read it free today. You can actually go look it up. You can actually read it for free. You can actually read that for free. And you can find out what all that is about. So as you go through this, and you get the better understanding of what's happening. So you have this Mary, she argued. What her argument was women were subjected to oppression through unequal treatment. I want you to pay attention to what that was her argument and why she was doing the feminist movement. They was under the oppression through unequal treatment when it comes to political issues and rights. That this woman to be granted, and she wanted all women to be granted to have the same rights as men with choices. In addition, she contended and that women should be granted the right to vote and even to occupy public office. That's what she was pushing, which in this was a smart angle taken. But if you look at it, many males, even myself, I'll agree with her 100%. I can't go against it because it makes all the sense in the world. But the main thing is women, it'll be better positioned if women should hold office as influencers with every male that is in office. So every male that is in office should have a woman influencer there. It will make it more sense. Make it way more sense to what the influencer is there. Because now he can get both sides. So she don't technically have to hold office. But I understood where she's coming from. So this is where the difference is. But feminism today is misunderstood when it comes to the notion of women in the same aspects of equality, which is not based on true characteristics alone. That's where the problem is, because we are not equal at all. So we can remove that because they want to be treated equal, but they are not equal at all. Period. Equal, and to show you where we're not equal, because women can have babies. Women have a cycle every month, or even just for simple little examples. Simple examples. Overall, females should have the same rights and political and rights as men, which to achieve and was achieved by white females. See, white females even are seen today, which a lot of people still don't know, but white females are seen as minorities. That's why a lot of the males, even in construction, they had their wives to get their contractor license to where they can actually be seen as a minority contractor. It was a smart move. Business move, but it was a smart move. But they were seen as minorities. And the movement was a way, and it moved this way to America. That's where it screwed up. But we're going to get into that also. So we have this belief that women should have the same rights as men, using the argument of oppression. Keep the argument of oppression there. And when you're leaving it to America, it get twisted up, because here, and people can sit there and say what they want, America is one of the biggest lying pots in the world. We'll lie on anything and make everything the truth, and it's not the truth. We think we're the basis of where truth is, and we're the base where all lies are. So just the term feminist, it was adopted by America, but it got twisted. Not again by white women. So you can remove the white women out of the room. We'll remove them because the white women didn't do anything wrong on what they was pushing. But black women, see, I got to go back to them. Black women is the one that tripped it up. Black women is the one that screwed everything. They was the one proven to destroy even a people as a whole. Gentile women was pushing the same thing that was adopted, the philosophy being oppressed without rights. That's what they issued. Think about this. White women, you see white women where men back then, they would leave their wives and they had children and they would be the one taking care of the house and everything else. And the white man would leave and he have no obligation to the woman or the child. They wanted rights to that, 100%. Now men today, even our black people, they'll pinhole that to us, but they was doing it also. They just don't tell you that. But those white women fought that. It was the white women to where now you get the alimony. It was them that feminist movement was the pusher of that. It was the pusher making sure the man take care of his child. If she was the homemaker. It was that white woman did that. Understood what her oppression was. There was a clear understanding of what oppression was in her world. Not what black women do. We're gonna be getting into that. So this feminist movement was an adopted idea, and it was adopted over here, and I'm gonna show it to you. And you'll see the same lady. Her name was Alice Paul. Her name was Alice Paul. One second. I'm trying to sit there. One second. Let me see. I think I can get this here. You don't want to show that. For some reason, you don't want to show it. There we go. It keep going out for some reason. And actually, let me just do this one. It keep going out. But her name is Alice Paul. It keep going out for some reason. But her name is Alice Paul. And Alice Paul was another, she was over in America. She's over here. You'll see this as Women in America if you want to put a vote in. This is what she was pushing. The same thing. She adopted it over here in the 19th century. And the white women first organized and they fight in order to have legal and social rights. Same thing. Same as in the United Kingdom. So however it did, it came over here and she adopted that. Alice Paul. And they insisted that women should be granted the same legal protection as males. And when you sit in that was her fight. That was their main fight. And anyone with common sense, anyone with understanding and common sense would do that. Will do that. With common sense, they wouldn't disagree with her. That she should have rights, because if two people come together as one and one is out there doing one thing and the other one is out there doing something else, but she is geared to where she's going to have the children, she's going to take care of the home, she's going to do all these things, and the male is going to go out and he's going to earn the money, he's going to bring the money in, and he's going to take care of the household. But then if the male leaves, the system is broken. But then she don't have the skills to actually go out to earn the income level on what they was actually living on. So the only way she can do it now, she probably have to go to work, but she needs to supplement the part there where she cannot make up for. And that's where the male comes in. Do anybody disagree with it? Only a fool would. Because she's 100% right. Only a fool would disagree with her. So that's what she was pushing. She was pushing the same identical thing. In an upbringing, you agree with it. Because if you decide to leave her and you leave her, high and dry, by right, that male should help take care of her. Now, if they only married for 1-2 years and then they, how they do in America, they cut out. No, They're gonna take care of the rest of her life. You might help her out for a couple of months and she get on about her business. But if they sit there, and they be with this male for over a period of time, and they got this thing going. No, by right, they should help raise the children and make sure that things are taken care of. Anybody, you can't disagree with it. Disagree. But this was done by white women. That's why I particularly want to sit there and say white women. White women was the one pushing that. They was pushing that idea. They was pushing that philosophy, which made it all the sense in the world. So people sit there and they'll go against white. No, but white women was 100% right. Now, we have what we call black feminism. Different ball game. Black feminism, women has taken the same idea and twisted it. They taken the same idea and they twisted it up, screwed it up in many different ways. And we're going to get into those ways, and we're going to find out what's going on. I didn't want to put up a lot of pictures on that, but I'm going to show you how screwed up black women has did this, because women took that feminism idea and removed the characteristics from the feminism idea and created something else. And they turned it up and they made it defined, no longer defining oppression, but they defined it other ways. It's not defining political issues. They defined it another way. They not define it as a social or equality issue, but black women defined it a whole nother way. We're going to see what those are. And so what they did, and what you'll see what they did even with black men, they'll see black men in their eyes. Many women that see black men, and you hear it. You can go across the board, across internet, you'll see it. They'll call black men lazy, drughead bums. And then when you see a black man working in a blue collar position, and most people might don't know, but I'm gonna share with you, you got white collar and blue collar, which they say in America. You got blue collar where they pretty much men work with their hands, and then white collar people work with their mind. Blue collar, white collar. And they have an issue with it. Women, not white women, black women. So we're going to remove white women out the way. We're going to take them out of the room, because the same thing is white women will get the wrong, they'll get pegged for the wrong reasons on something that they fearfully fought for, and anybody with common sense would agree with them. But everybody won't agree with this black woman, which we was going from place to place getting kicked out based on screwed up ideas. But that's what we got to look at. Because black women sit there and they want men to provide for this black woman a lifestyle. And they go from home in broken homes and $2 a day, and then they want a man to make six figures because they will tell you they're worth it. And the only thing they're doing, the only thing they're offering is sex. Well, he got me. No, that's stupidity. He got me. I'm worth it. How you know? You're worth it to you. How many men went through you? See, many of us have men, and the first thing the black women feminists, what they do, they I'm gonna show you the black women feminists. The qualifications for a lot of black males. See, they'll tell you, and you'll hear it. You can scour the web because you'll see it everywhere. And they'll sit there and they have a qualification for feminists, black feminists, that the males need to make at least 6 figures. You need to make 6 figures. They have to have a nice car, have a nice house. They must buy her expensive gifts. You must give her money. And take her on expensive trips. Give her expensive dinners. Clean the house and make sure everything's taken care of, to where she don't have to, and make sure all the outside taken care of. And then make sure you even share in the cooking. She don't have to work. You send her on sporadic shopping sprees. You're always on call whenever you need. And you offering anything else other than what is needed. And all she want to give you is, she said, you got me. That's black women feminism in a nutshell. This is why you sit there and you see this when we go here, and it makes all your understanding there, because that's what they have taken it to. That's what they have taken this to, and they do this very well. You see this in in Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. It says, and 7 women should take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel, let us be called by thy name. And you got a lot of these sisters that actually operate on what I just said. This male need to be able to do this. This male need to be able to do that. Not only black women was oppressing marriages in the black community, they cannot seek outside resources to fulfill duties of other women. So saying black men is lazy, black men are lazy, these black women feminist ideas with their bread and their covenant, they believe they have equal rights to all jobs, not some jobs, to all jobs, and even the ones that's seeking the souls for God.